Solo man on point today. So, how is the quality of your life now in the Western and European worlds? Well, I've noticed where I am that the quality is non-existent. Oh, you might have some more materialistic things, but they don't really mean anything. Because there doesn't seem to be any values, any decency, and certainly no justice anymore. And you can go back in time if you go to these small little towns or small little villages. They're still sort of the same, and they have quality, and they have morality, and it is a nice feeling. But everywhere has been eroded with immorality, isn't it? And it seems like people just don't care. So here's a question, and I think a lot of people know the answer to this. Why do countries have armies? Because if they didn't have armies, then other countries would just walk right in, wouldn't they? And the countries with armies have to tell the other countries they're willing to use them. And although there's a few wars that break out, generally it keeps things fairly quiet. It's called a deterrent, isn't it? And it creates respect from other countries, as long as they know that you will use it if you have to. And I think most people, even femons, understand that concept. So let's take a look at our schools nowadays. And to me, there seems one thing largely missing, and that is discipline. I mean, children can actually threaten their teachers without any sort of repercussions. And I've heard the way some of the students talk to their teacher with no respect at all. And we see the results of the adults that have come up in that sort of era, don't we? I had discipline at school, and it's made me a better person, a better adult. The school system, at least where I am, is permeated with mostly femons and weak men. And femons never have been known for discipline, have they? Because throughout time, females have always been immoral. And the only thing that kept them in check was strong men. And it was a good balance. In the traditional families, men were always the ones that dished out the discipline. Hardly ever the femon. But of course nowadays the man is not allowed to discipline his own children. So his children basically become immoral and no respect. Because they've removed the deterrent. And we see this because these very young girls, almost still children, are walking the streets now as if they're, well, you know, very immoral looking. And many years ago, the father would never let his daughter go out of the house looking like that. But femons have no morals, really. And I see femons walking around, and they look crash, no class, no quality. And this is the type of femon you would get without discipline or boundaries. A human being who has no respect for other people, least of all themselves. Without strong laws and deterrents, you have a weak society. And weak societies through history have always failed. Most prisons nowadays are filled with repeat offenders because the laws are weak and there's no deterrent. And human nature will never change. And the femons are the ones that are getting into positions and taking the strength and deterrent away from our laws so they can be more immoral. I was working at a place for wayward teenagers. You know, that place where the next stop for them would be prison. And I got a chance to see what went on in these places. First of all, it was 97% females running this place. There was no real discipline there or deterrent. They were just trying to understand them and be friends with them all the time. They were almost rewarded for their bad behavior. So of course, it was ineffective. And the real men used to say things like, "Put 'em in the army, make a man of them," or a woman. Of course, that's frowned upon, isn't it now? But it makes sense. And I tell you what, it worked in a lot of cases. So if you just think about it, all the countries in the world today, which ones appear the strong ones now? Well, it certainly isn't the one I'm in, or a lot of the Western worlds are gone too. It's the countries that have discipline and laws and deterrence. So why are countries now so weak? Well, here's a scenario that I've seen to be true. Take a look at a femon walking a very large dog who's strong. Does the femon to you appear that she has full control over this animal? And for me, the answer is no. Because when I see a female with a very big dog, I give them a wide berth. But when I see a man walking a big powerful dog, I'm a lot more at ease. The man appears to be in full control of that dog. And I'm not being biased, I'm just telling you what I've noticed over the years. And that kind of explains why our countries are so weak and messed up now, with hardly any morality. And of course the male must take the blame what's happened too. The reason it's happened is because of weak men. But they were brought up as weak men purposely. Values usually came from strong men. And there's no real strong men left. And the men that are strong still, their voices are being silenced and drowned out by very loud, immoral femons. Femons are really the destroyer of worlds. Let me know your thoughts on this. You take it easy now.
Sir, what is it?
Rome has fallen.
Ah, shit.